If you live, work and earn in Nigeria, then this video is for you. So recently, the president signed 4 tax reform bills into law and a lot of changes were introduced. But for this video, we'll be talking about the changes that will be affecting your personal income. That is the changes that will affect the amount you pay on your employment income or the tax you pay on your employment income. So for the personal income tax, there are about 3 changes that will affect the personal income tax in this new tax act. And the first of that is the changes in the tax threshold. From my screen, you can see the old and new threshold. So from the old threshold, you can see that the threshold starts from 300,000 naira at 7%. So for the first 300,000 naira you earn in a year, you pay 7% up to 24%, depending on how much you earn in a year. However, for the new threshold, any taxable earnings between 0 to 800,000 naira will be free. That is, if your taxable income is 800,000 naira or less in a year, not monthly, you won't have to pay tax on that income. And however, any amount higher than 800,000 naira, you start paying tax at 15% up to 25%, depending on the amount you earn in the full year. The second change in the new tax act that can affect your personal income tax is the removal of the Consolidated Relief Allowance. So usually before calculating your personal income tax, there is a relief or an allowance that would have been deducted from your gross earnings before calculating tax on that. And the essence of this relief is just so that you can have an amount that you take for free that you don't have to pay tax on. So that is the essence of this relief or allowance. And this is called the Consolidated Relief Allowance and it comes in 2 parts. So the first part is 1% of your gross income or 200,000 naira, whichever is higher. So what this means is that we have to compare 1% of your gross income and 200,000 naira. Which of them is higher? That would be the amount that will be deducted as the relief. So let's say, for example, you earn 4 million naira in a year. 1% of 4 million naira is 40,000 naira. So you compare this to 200,000 naira. So we can see that 200,000 naira is higher than the 1%, which is 40,000 naira. Therefore, 200,000 naira will be the amount deducted as part of this relief. So you don't pay tax on this 200,000 naira. The second part of the Consolidated Relief Allowance is a deduction of 20% on your income after deducting pension or other allowable contributions like the National Housing Fund. So let's say, for example, you earn 4 million naira in a year and you contribute 8% to your pension fund. That is 320,000 naira every year. So 4 million minus 320,000 naira, that leaves us 3,680,000 naira. So this second relief will then be 20% on 3,680,000 naira, and that gives us 736,000 naira. So this means that 736,000 naira will be tax free for you and you don't have to pay tax on 736,000 naira of your income. So in total, the Consolidated Relief Allowance you'll be getting in that year will be the first 200,000 naira we talked about and this 736,000 naira, which is 936,000 naira. So out of your 4 million naira earnings, you don't have to pay tax on 936,000 naira. However, this is for the old tax law. With this new tax law, these consolidated relief allowances have been eliminated. They no longer exist and you will no longer get them. And this leads us to the third change affecting your personal income tax, which is rent relief. So rent relief is a new relief that was introduced in this new tax law, and this kind of relief can only be claimed by individuals who pay rent. So if you are a homeowner or you live in your own house and you don't pay rent, then you can't claim this relief. So what is this relief? So this relief is going to be either 20% of the rent you pay or 200,000 naira, whichever is lower. So let's say, for example, you rent a house at the rate of 800,000 naira per year. So 20% of that will be 160,000 naira. So this is lower than 200,000 naira. So the relief you get or the allowance you get will be 160,000 naira. However, if you rent a house at 1.5 million naira per year and 20% of that is 300,000 naira, this is higher than 200,000 naira. So the relief you'll be getting is 200,000 naira. So the maximum possible rent relief you can get is 200,000 naira. And you have to bear in mind that this is only applicable to those who pay rent, and you have to declare this to the tax authority, and you might also be provided or required to provide evidence of this rent payments before claiming the relief. So these are the changes in the new tax act that will affect your personal income. Watch out for my next video where I use numbers and examples to explain how much you pay using the old tax act and how much you pay using the new tax act. At Make Finance Simple, we discuss and break down everything finance and investment related in simple terms. If you like to learn how to start investing, whether in stocks, mutual funds, money market funds, FGN savings bonds, treasury bills, and so on, then you are in luck, because the next edition of our Invest Now webinar will be coming up on July 13th, 2025. So to register or to secure a spot, hit the link on my bio or copy the link on the screen. Don't forget to like and share this video. Follow for more finance made simple, and I'll see you in the next one.